Friends, one of our YouTube family members writes that he's having some intonation problems. You too? Stick around. This might help. Joseph from Australia says he's got a nice silver tenor, says the horn is flat. Now, this is interesting because later he says he's sharp, but he says he's flat in these notes B2, C2, and C sharp 2. Okay? B2, C2, and C sharp 2 are flat. B3, C3, and C sharp 3, he says, are sharp. All right, so the middle stack, a little bit flat, upper stack, those notes are a little bit hotter. Okay? Says, now here's the comment that's interesting. Says he's usually sharper than he thinks he is. Joseph, not sure what you mean by that, but I'm gonna press on here. He says his routine is that he practices more than an hour per day and that he uses a tuner. All right. He says that he's always thinking about pitch and feels that he can't just cut loose for fear that he's out of tune. Any of you have an issue like that? You feel like you got something that's kind of, maybe not quite worked out yet, and it keeps you just from sailing off into that blue sky of improvisation. Yep, don't we all? Joseph asks, does it come down to practicing, self-recording, and getting an ear locked into his horn? And the short answer is no. It's not really what it comes down to. All right, I've isolated some things without really having further conversation with Joseph. Excuse me. He's in Australia, and I'm not. The tuner problem. Let's talk about that. The tuner problem. I know it sounds like a really good idea, having a tuner, and I use one. I use the tonal energy tuner, TE tuner. I'll put a link in the description below. Yes, I endorse that. It's a very, very good tuner. It does a lot of things for the buck. In fact, I think it's like $3.99 US. Not very expensive, and I think you'll enjoy that. It also has a tone generator. Now, that's the part that I want you to focus on, the tone generator, the thing that makes sound, and start tuning to sound using these two big master sound collectors that are connected to your head. Use those instead of your eyes. Tuning with your eyes presents difficulty. And our friend in Australia is finding this out. When he goes live, he's having problems in the dynamic situation that playing live presents. That's where you want to be able to have tuned a lot or played a lot to something that forces you to use your ears and make those micro breath and embouchure adjustments so that you can get in tune. I suggest, if you have a keyboard, find the sustain pedal and hit that. Generally, that's the one on the right, and mash that down and hit notes and tune to the key. All right. If you have an in-house pianist, that's even better. Or find drones, D-R-O-N-E, drones. There are practice drones. I use cello practice drones. You can find them on YouTube, and they are marvelous. You can sit there and go through a scale. I mean, they're in all 12 keys, and you can run through, and you can do all kinds of things, and they really get your ear in shape. Okay. The second thing that jumps out at me here from what Joseph is saying is that I'm wondering if he can actually hear himself at the gig. I played in loud rock bands for years and years and years, right? I mean, loud as it gets. Marshall stacks, SVT stacks, the biggest amps that you can buy. Loud, and it was fun. We had a great time. Could I hear myself? Not really well. So I had to, and being, of course, basically the one acoustic instrument on stage, I'm playing through a microphone, feeding back through a loop that includes maybe a wedge, maybe a floor, maybe side fill types of monitors that maybe worked and maybe they didn't. And when I couldn't hear myself and I'd hear playback later, I'd say, oh God, wow. So I wonder how well our friend from down under can hear himself in the live situation. You always want to solve for that, okay? If your sound is in the hands of a sound guy or a sound mixer, or maybe you're just at the jam or something, you got to work it out so that you can hear yourself, okay? If you can't, then, how can you expect to be in tune? But here's the big one. The big one is to practice the way that you play. What? Yeah, practice the way you play. You go into your practice room and you don't practice the way that you're going to play with that yacht rock group on Saturday night. Now, do you? No, you go. No, you don't. You don't practice like that. You don't put that, big volume, that big sound in your horn. Or, whatever it is. Maybe you're in a marching band and your field show is coming up and, you're surely not going to sit in the practice room and launch those tones that you're going to launch on the field with the rest of your band. Most of us really hold back in the practice room. Most of us don't play the same way that we would like to sound live, okay? And that's a problem too because, you're in tune and you're not maybe using your full gusto. You're not playing with a big sound, but you're in tune in the practice room. The minute you step out and you go into a live situation, the dynamics change entirely. Like you might be outside or you might be in a really big dance hall. The dynamics completely change. And then you've got all the members of the band that are either in tune or not, or sort of in tune or sort of not, or going in and out of phase. I mean, this just happens. This is the way it is. So you've got to practice the way that you play and get in tune that way. That's the way that you want to be in tune. You want to know that you're in tune the same way that you're going to go and honk it with whatever band you're playing with, whatever style, whatever sound, whatever you're doing. Doesn't matter. Practice the way that you play. Don't practice with a practice tone. Now, I know a lot of you will use a practice tone because you might live in a crowded situation. You got people trying to sleep. You live in a crowded condo situation, apartment, whatever. But again, the horn asks you to solve that problem. Find a way that you can practice the way that you are going to actually play or that you want to play. All right, that's the big three here. The tuner problem, tuning with your eyes and not your ears in practice. 2, at the gig, can you really hear yourself? And 3, practice the way you play. Now, there's some other things that come into, obviously with intonation, we want to make sure that your horn is straight. Everything is right. Key heights, everything are in adjustment. Breath support, that's you. You're pushing right here with, you did those 100 sit-ups this morning, right? So those muscles that are really sore. Yeah. You want to push at all times with that. The mouthpiece reed combo. I don't really know what kind of mouthpiece Joseph is using there in Australia. I don't know if he's got a high performance with a baffle. I don't know what he's got. I don't know how long he's been using it. And I don't know what kind of reed is on there. But those, obviously come into play. And then finally, the recording device itself. A lot of times, I'll go someplace and record. I remember recording a top shelf blues guy, and I went back, and it was, he was sharp, and I thought, wow, so it was an artifact of my smartphone. That's really what it was. So Joseph, I will say this: if the people that you're playing with are not hollering at you and saying, "Dude, get in tune," you're probably okay. All right. Thanks. Hey, listen, those of you who have questions, send them to me. I'll put the email in the comments below. That's the best way to reach me. And I may select yours to be answered here on the channel. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. If this helped you today, feel free to subscribe and hit that love button. All right, that's all I got. Play that horn. Enjoy it. Be good to each other. Do good work. And I'll see you again here maybe in a week or so, okay? All right, take care.